Lorde now, what's she done? Billboard #1, cover of the Rolling Stone, and now 2 Grammy Awards. I was thinking about it. The only way that Lorde could become more of a legend in this country is if she came back, put on an orange T-shirt and took a 6 one-handed at the cricket.
I bet she could do that too, Jessie.
Absolutely,
I bet
right?
she could. She's not from Hamilton, but hey.
You could just about claim the money if you wore that along to the cricket and took a catch, I reckon.
I would claim it.
Enough of this. Let's get into it and immerse ourselves in the brilliance, really, the brilliance of another one of those days that it felt wonderful to be a New Zealander. Lorde killed it at the Grammys. Jessie's right. Song of the Year, Best Pop Solo, 2 of 4, and we couldn't be prouder.
Thank you so much.
Grammy glory cracking Lorde's cool. Hard to believe a mere few years ago she was
Ella.
headbanging at the Battle of the Bands and down on pop music.
I remember being like 13 or 14 and, you know, thinking pop music was the worst thing in the world.
With newly minted Grammy winner and producer Joel Little, Ella became Lorde, rewriting pop's rulebook with the chart-busting song Royals.
You can call me Queen Bee, and baby I'll rule.
Suddenly pop is cool and the world's listening. Mates with Taylor Swift, good enough to parody.
It's so unfair. The Lorde's a millionaire at 17.
And to make the cover of Rolling Stone.
When I'm Lorde, I am fearless.
Fearless enough to go from our place to everyone's.
Yes, it is quite the story in LA. Joanna Hunkin is with us. Joanna, where are they now, do you know?
Look, I think there's still some official business happening down the road at the Staples Centre. There are interviews and things to be done. Then there are they're contractually obliged to go to a round of after parties that are hosted by sponsors. Of course, the interesting thing about that is Lorde is not old enough to go to a lot of those parties, which are in bars and serving alcohol. She joked before that she was going to be hanging out with her family and drinking a lot of sparkling water. But then I think it's early to bed because she has to fly back to New Zealand tomorrow to do that Laneway sideshow, which is happening on Wednesday night.
Do you know what the highlight of me, I know the awards are everything and people think that's fantastic and it's going to do wonderful things for her. Do you know what the highlight for me was? The highlight was that song, the way she nailed that song, because a couple of songs later it was Katy Perry and she out-vocaled Katy Perry, I thought.
Yeah, I agree with you. I also think Katy Perry isn't the strongest vocalist. But that aside, I thought Lorde looked more relaxed and sort of composed during this performance. It was interesting, though, she did an interview with The Hollywood Reporter and said that those dance moves that she's become quite famous for now, they're not deliberate, she can't control them. She says that's just the way the music manifests itself in her. So it was interesting that today she did seem to have a bit more control over it. Whether that was actually because she was more relaxed or more nervous, I guess only she could tell us.
Where does she go? This is the part that fascinates me most. Where does she go with this now? I mean, who signs her up? When's the next record? Is she writing? What's next?
Well, I definitely think Universal Music are not going to let her go anywhere. They will be keeping her in lockdown. I do know that she was in the studio with Joel Little, her co-writer. They were in the studio the other week doing a little bit of work. She's also been making a music video while she was here in LA, so that will be the next single to be released. And then I think she's got a few commitments like that Laneway Festival and I think some other shows. And then the plan is to go over to the UK and try to really capitalise on that market, which hasn't been as successful yet as the US market has been, purely because so much energy and attention has had to go into the US market. But they will now be looking to capitalise on this Grammy success and go over and head to Europe.
As unpatriotic as this may make me sound, I had Macklemore.
Right. Which is a great song and has a great message. But here is the thing. The Grammy Academy, the people that vote for those awards, 12,000 members. Some of them have been members since the 1950s, 1960s. A lot of them conservative Republicans. You've got to think the country music industry makes up a huge proponent of the voting academy. And for them, that song was too far out. Not going to happen.
Do we know what she was wearing, by the way?
There was speculation that perhaps she was in Zambezi, but that hasn't been confirmed. But there was a great moment when someone backstage asked her what she was wearing after her performance, and she said, a white shirt and black pants.
Can't argue with that, eh? What a day. Joanna, appreciate your time very much.
Yeah, cheers.
You noticed when I said I had Macklemore, she just went, right, like
Yeah.
you're an idiot.
Yeah, I noticed
Like,
you
what
had
were
quite a
what-
few
yeah,
strong opinions for a guy that apparently the song of the summer was One Direction. I heard you say earlier. So, yeah, but keep giving them, it's good.
Thanks.
I do feel like someone should be sticking up for Katy Perry and all of this, but I guess today's not the day for that. Can I mention, though, that Katy Perry, when she released her first album, Lorde, was 4 years old, and Lorde still beat her to a Grammy Award.
Joking.
I've got to ask you, by the way, what did you think of Lorde's look?
The fashion, it's obviously a big thing. I wasn't surprised because I thought she'd go a little different with the whole pants combo.
Yeah.
But what I was surprised about were the nails. I think we've got a picture of them. Take a look. So obviously she went for the semi-goth look, but the
Wow.
paint actually goes down her fingers, and I wonder if this will start catching on amongst the teens.
She looks like she's just murdered someone with a leaky biro.
I think they said it, she dipped them in tar. But good on Lorde, I like how she's an individual.
All right, and if you liked Lorde's version of Royals at the Grammys today, we have a really special version of the song, unmissable version of it, later on 7 sharp.